Hello, this is the third session of the Looking for a GM website pilot program Games Now thingy that I've been running of Apocalypse World, second edition from Vincent and Miguel Baker, which is one of my favorite RPGs and the start of a whole Apocalypse Engine style of games that thrills and delights me so much that I do a podcast about it, because why not, right? The game, you will notice there are more like people at the bottom because I'm excited. We have two ringer players. So now we have a whole, like, what happens when we have a whole team of ringers? I think you win the World Series. I don't know. That we'll find out. So pretty.
You get recruited by the Yankees, I think.
I almost went there, but I was afraid that people would, get upset. But yeah, that might be exactly what it is. So what we're going to do is both Mark and Jason have already scoped out a little bit about their characters. We'll talk a bit about them, then we'll integrate them into the world of Junk World, work out HX, then we'll spin back up with the situation where we had left it last session. So Jason, hello. Welcome to the group.
Hi, it's good to be here. You wanted me to talk about the character, or what do you?
I just want to say hello and hear your voice because it's lovely.
It's fantastic to hear you too.
Now you can please tell us about the character that you've scoped out and have an idea about.
Kate Bullock the other day was asking what we're what's giving us life. She was looking for that, and I said Richard Rogers.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Yeah, a little stalkery, but there you go. so I'm. I chose the playbook. My character is Sunset, the Battle Babe, and Sunset as a Battle Babe is specific to Junk World. She wears kind of a old style dress that is disheveled mildly and carries a guitar. And she uses this actually to record events throughout Junk World, with the idea being that she's part of a long line where they try to remember history in song form, because it's just the best form of maintaining records. Her ancestors were actually historians on the first ship. And so she collects history, she collects songs, and she sings them. That's all she really wants to do, is collect them and sing them. But she's not really very patient with audiences that don't want to hear it, or people who don't want to give her historical artifacts or news. And, she's got to eat. On the back of her guitar is a sheath for a hella nasty knife that I found an image that I think does pretty well for that. I'll just go ahead and put that there. And she also carries a automatic pistol with which she can do serious damage. Of interest to this is a couple of things. One is that many, many moons ago, Hound was either a genetic older sister or as like an older sister before Hound left to find her own way in the wastes. And there's a certain sense of betrayal there, I think. And also we talked a little bit about how her collecting stories and music gives her a spot with Mark's character.
Sorry, just showing that cool knife pick that you shared with us. That is really scary. I don't want to be chopped by that. Thank you. That is awesome. Yes, Mark.
Jason, I have a question for you.
Yep.
Have you seen the horrible film Six String Samurai?
I have seen the horrible film Six String Samurai. That was one of the primary inspirations for this character, in point of that in the character Harry Heck from the really terrible 2004 Punisher movie starring Thomas Jane.
Okay. Well, if you would somehow come upon your character without knowing Six String Samurai, I just wanted to let
burst
you know.
That bubble.
I am looking forward to killing the spinach monster.
Okay. I will try not to make quotes from that film.
I do not like rock and roll music. It is too loud. I like folk music. Nice, soft, anything. Quote the hell out of that movie, man.
Okay. The one that I was thinking for you is you know, someone would say, if I were you, I'd run, and you'd reply with,
if you were me, you'd be good looking.
There you go. Horrible film. Love it to
I
death.
love it so much.
I cannot quote that movie. I've seen it once, and it was pretty good. But
Have you ever used a pink golf ball scooter? Take a man's head clean off 30 yards.
Wow. Okay, this is good stuff. I obviously should not have watched District 9 earlier today to remind me of some of my Junk World inspiration. I should have been watching Six String Samurai.
It is also apocalyptic, sir.
It is. It is. Often when I think of Six String Samurai, I think of Octane, the game by Jared Sorensen. If you guys haven't played that, it's a pretty bombastic post-apocalypse.
In fact, my only encounter with it is listening to you play it with people. I think probably on the Gauntlet, because I think Nick played in that game, but I remember hearing it.
Octane.
I love the character sheet and the whole.
Oh my gosh!
The whole gas pedal, and that's just, I love that.
Jared Sorensen consistently has really cool character sheets. Lacuna is one of my favorite character sheets of all time. Octane is really cool. Inspectors is pretty great as well. Although the ones that subsequently I think other people did were even cooler. Sorry, a big tangent, and my love fest for Jared Sorensen's games doesn't end. Mark, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. You also have a character, and I'm very excited to find out about them.
Yes, well, I had an unfortunately short-lived game of Apocalypse World, and in it, I made a character that I didn't get to see very far, so I have brought her to Junk World. It's a one-way visa; she doesn't get to go back home, so here she is. I was so excited about this game, even though it was an online game, that I actually I printed out my character, and I have her all written up too. So I may refer to this during the evening, and the evenings following. Grig is the news, and you know what? I've written some stuff up. Let me bring it up and read it, because that works a lot better than my memory. And the world is an ugly place, and we are the reason for it. Exposing the ugliness via the truth is the only way that we can bring beauty back to this world. My mother, the priest, in my opinion, I think she's probably a hocus of some sort, taught me that when we fell, and that that we have been found wanting. And my voice speaks the truth, and because of that, it is beautiful, and it is alone that is beautiful about me. Grig seeks to keep everyone accountable for their actions, especially those in power. She has pissed off a few people, but her audience respects her for the truth that she tells, and she tends to keep herself very covered up. She feels like sin should not be seen, but it's a kind of a paradoxical kind of thing. It should be exposed but not seen. So
that is an interesting paradox.
Yeah. So she's got a high hot. And...
I was going to say, before you go on,
yes,
I was going to say that write-up is amazeballs. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for saying that, Pam, because it is definitely very cool.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So I have a move called Rally to the Cause. And when I speak out in favor of a cause or a person, I can gain hold that will force my audience to send in supplies or attack somebody or defend somebody or go someplace. And I also have the good fight. When you talk passionately with another player's character about your plans, the future, or how fucked up things are, I can get hold. And if I ask the character to do something and they do it, they mark experience. Kind of like strings in Monster Hearts. And I think I have a tower. I think there was talk of a tower in above Oasis. I can't.
Outside.
And I know that I'm involved with the gregarious upper 10.
Well, who isn't really, according to upper 10?
I see. Well, then I am one amongst the many. And I believe I have befriended one of his wives. And that's about as far as I've got with my character. I've left her very blank in many spaces because I just want to jump in and fill in as best I can.
I love it. I appreciate that. That is totally cool with me because the news does have some amenities, attractions, complications, people with connections. So I'd like to start off with the connections part, and then when we get to Oasis, we can fill out the other pieces as we go, right? And make sure that it's something that's cool for you. So Junk World started off as this weird little idea I had for an Apocalypse World setting in a play-by-post. And I've actually run it 3 different groups, like 3 different generations. We built a whole lot of canon, and I'm like, wow, this is really hot. Like the core idea of it is really, really cool. And then this is back several years ago when Indie Plus was a thing. And there were a couple of anthologies that were released by Indie Plus. And in one of them, I took Junk World as I took the core out of it, the names list for a few of the groups. And my friend Adam Robichaux created the map for Sector 10. And I kind of framed everything around that to try to scale it back, like take a campaign and rip out all the guts that would be too much overlay of canon. And I told you all that to tell you that Junk World had a radio station. Like there were a couple of radio stations that were built over those generations. So I love that now we're like, this is Elseworlds Junk World. So Rich has only the vestigial memories of cool little moments that happened in those other games. And the idea of a newish radio station happening and driven by a player character is very compelling because this game existed before there was a news. So it was just this side thing where Rich could throw in music he likes and say that it was playing on Junk World radio. And now we have the news. So that's a long story. John, please tell us of your water bearer.
My water bearer is Rolo. He was born and raised in Oasis, and so he grew up hearing the laws on a regular basis, being taught by the water bearer before him in the ways of the water, and he grew, into being one of the people that was being considered for that role. He memorized the art in the water bearer shrine, helped with the repainting of it, which is a regular thing, which is an aquifer map, by the way, but they don't actually really know what it is. So that's how it was all originally placed there. People with some knowledge of geology and water. So the shrine is actually filled with like water testing equipment and stuff like that, and those are kind of the holy relics of the water bearer. But he eventually grew into the role of the other water bearer, got sick, and passed on the mantle, basically. And at that point, he lost his lover, basically. They split as they took their roles kind of seriously and didn't think they should be mixing business with pleasure kind of thing. Also, some jealousy over the position because, and now her name just went out of my head, but she was obviously one of the other choices that might have been the water bearer.
Is this Blackjack?
Yeah, Blackjack.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, she is raised in the ways too, but she ended up being the guardian, the lift keeper, the gatekeeper, responsible for security. He takes his job very seriously, cares about his people, cares about the Oasis, and has been out occasionally. No, actually, they're supposed to have a lot of sex, but in response to Jason's thing. Generating children actually, I think, is part of the goals for Oasis, and doing so widely, because there's a scientific basis for Oasis in the past. So somebody at some point was like, you can't be, marrying and having, children with just these people. You've got to get as much into the gene pool as possible and diversify. But nobody knows that science anymore, but that's where it comes from. And he's been out with Hound in the past. And so they have a friendship from that. I don't know if I have met either of these other people, but
I would hope so, because we're going to work out some HX.
There we go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate it. Let's find out. Pam, hello, and please remind us about Hound.
Well, hi. Hound is nicknamed for the fact that she has a renovated, modified, I should say, very much modified Greyhound bus. I don't know that she knows it's a Greyhound bus. I think the first part is sort of scratched off, but so she just is like, well, it says Hound, it's Hound. And the bus's name is
Gobstopper.
Gobstopper. And it's a he, not a she. Dadgummit. Anyways, so Hound is she might have been out in the sun a little bit too long. I don't know that she has the best memory of her time back with, just blanked on,
Sunset.
Sunset. Hard name to remember. Duh. I think that she has spotty memories of that part of her life when she was piling around with Sunset. She remembers Sunset. She remembers making up songs. I think that she doesn't quite remember why they fell out.
So you're not going to be part of the archive upbringing?
Oh, no, I'm definitely part of the archive upbringing. I just don't think that that's part of what I remember that much of. That's probably because I was like,
I had
I have my vehicle now. That's all I need.
So I had written one part in there where you argued with the old woman, and part of it was that you didn't respect the old woman, so you started just like taking what she did and turned it into more interesting stories. Because I only listened to episode 1 all the way through, but you lie all the time. And so the lying became an issue. So like, as far as Sunset's concerned, the reason you don't remember it is because you're too caught in your own web of lies. If you'd only stuck to the truth and the true songs, you wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah. But I know true songs. And one of them is a story about a man named Brady who was bringing up three very something boys. I don't remember it because it wasn't important. Yeah. So no, that's totally cool. I think I said in the first episode that yeah, she does lie all the time, but that's mainly to jerk people's chains, which I'm sure jerking the chains of the old lady was one of her favorite things to do. And also because I had initially thought that the Blackjack's actress was Crazy Eyes, but it's the other character, right? She's maybe a little bit like Crazy Eyes, where reality, like you were saying, Jason, reality and her own web of lies, they kind of intermingle a little bit. So that's probably why she doesn't have an accurate memory of Sunset. But she remembers that she was like a sister. Whether they were actual sisters or not doesn't matter, as far as she's concerned. She has Gobstopper, like I said, is a modified Greyhound bus, but as you can imagine, buses in the distant future are not the same as what they are now. They're bigger and badder and cooler. So the way that I described it is that if you took
the Nebuchadnezzar.
Furiosa, there we go. If you took Furiosa's truck from Fury Road and married it or mated it with the Nebuchadnezzar from The Matrix, that's what you would get. So it's like a hover bus. It doesn't fly, it just woo, 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 woo a lot. So, and that's her pride and joy. She's cobbled it together. On board, she found a whole bunch of retro stuff because when the Greyhound bus was dumped, 1950s, 1960s, 1940s stuff was very popular. That's where her style comes from. She doesn't know any better. So yeah, she's a few fries short of a Happy Meal. But she really, really likes the Oasis.
How long have you had, can I ask a question? How long have you had it? Because since you have the 50s motif going on too, right, Sunset?
She kind of has that look. Honestly, when I picked it, I was just thinking kind of trendy hipster, but it does kind of feel 50s-esque.
And you were talking about Sunset Boulevard as the thing?
Well, everyone got their name from pop culture, so I figure her name actually came off of a record of Sunset Boulevard. Like, all that's left is the word sunset.
Yeah, it's just like...
Kind of like Count.
If you escaped, if you left at some point, that bus could have been something where you're both pulling stuff out of it as kids.
Yeah.
And then you drive off in your shared childhood. Bye, I'm
taking off with my childhood.
To be fair, I'm the reason why our shared childhood is a mode of transportation and not just sitting there. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. You make me sound like a horrible person. Sunset, I don't know why I left now. So that's Hound. She's a really good driver, though.
She is.
I actually think that the argument that you had with the old woman is probably the final push you needed to go and fix the damn thing and drive off. Whatever that argument was.
Well, I wasn't going to walk lockstep into her little
crazy song singing.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember the line from Deadpool. I wasn't going to stick around with some bald Heaven's Gate looking motherfucker, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Impressed, I just dropped a big word.
I am.
Okay. So yeah, I was probably like, because I think that she's like down in art counterculture. So, or at least if nothing else, she's so stubborn that if you tell her to do something, she'll do the complete opposite.
Yep.
So probably not that sad that she left.
Doesn't sound like the closest of relationships. This sounds intriguing.
I was conflicted.
Conflicted is a good word.
Yes, it's complicated. It's yeah. file it under It's Complicated. Let's do some A checks now that we know our characters. I'm going to circle back to the news. Can you read us your A checks, please?
Why, certainly. Sunset, can I count on you to tell me the truth?
Yes, Sunset never lies at all, ever.
Okay, let me note that here.
Sorry, babe, you're muted. That's
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because that could be a lie. I'm just saying that if you always tell the truth, it could be a lie.
It could be, but she doesn't knowingly lie.
Unlike
Can't
other
wait.
you mentioned.
Oh,
Okay.
so good. Can't wait to have people question her. It's going to be, no, ask her. Sunset doesn't lie. Oh, good. Yeah, let me.
I mean, the flip side is she might stab you if you're asking her too many questions.
Rolo, can I count on you to tell me the truth?
yeah.
Yep, I agree with that.
Okay. Hound, can I count on you to tell me the truth?
Sure.
Is this supposed to be honest answers here?
I generally think that
Oh, hell no. What was that?
So I generally think that history is supposed to be honest. Yes.
Yeah, come on. Tell the truth
so-
about your true
So
things.
the answer is no.
I would say that you have a 50-50 shot of getting the truth out of her.
So you can't count on her.
No.
Okay. All right.
And by 50-50, I mean more like 75-25.
Which side's 75?
Fibbing, of course.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Cool.
you have to be honest about it.
Do you have any other HX? I think it's just the can I count on you to tell the truth, right?
That's
Yeah.
interesting. History
is.
choice.
It's
It's-
pretty clear.
Now that we're clear on it being honest, does that change your answer, Rolo, or not?
No, I'm not a disingenuous person. No.
He's
Okay.
no, he's pretty forthright. Like he's almost heroic, which in Apocalypse World means that I must grind him down.
But I'm going to deny.
Okay. Yes, those are my my history questions.
Lovely. So Pam, will circle back around to you. Do you have any HX questions to ask our two new PCs?
Is that in my playbook? I'm sorry. Brain blitz.
Yes, that would be in your.
Yep, it's in your playbook. I'm actually hopping to it, see if I can
Thank
help
you.
you out.
I was going to say I can go grab my playbook as I failed completely.
All right, so let's see, you go around for HX. On your turn, you ask 1, 2, or all 3. For everyone else, you'll write HX -1. I'll drop this into the chat so you have access to it.
Thank you. I'm also opening my copy of it. Hopefully, I just.
And I
One of
didn't
those-
play with the formatting, so there you go. One should already be assigned, I think.
Yeah, from
Yeah. Rolo's is.
Was it the staring out into the horizon one, I think? Or was it Days on the Road?
No, it was staring out at the horizon.
Thought so. Cool. So you've got 2 questions there you can ask. And if you don't ask them or don't like them, then you can do the -1.
Okie dokie.
Did you see it in the
I am
hangout?
reading real quick.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure that I was, because I didn't say where I stuck it, because there's like 20 bazillion I could have put it in the Roll20 chat. I could have put it
I
in the
looked at
Hangout
the
text
Roll20
chat.
first, and I realized. Okay, so. So Greg.
Yep.
Actually, I can.
Hey.
No. Sorry, I can ask everybody. Which one of you once got me out of some serious shit?
I think that's going to be Sunset. Like, she might not like you much, but she still would have laid waste to anyone trying to harm you.
Okay.
Did you do it secretly, or does she know that you saved her? I guess because you have a bond, right? So
yeah, no. Sunset isn't really interested in being subtle.
Let's put a little detail around that. Do you think that this trouble happened around Sector 10, around Oasis, or out in the Wastes?
My vote would probably be the Waste.
All right. Run in with the Windies, or do we want to have some other?
Oh, I hate the Wendy's.
I would happily have had it be a run in with the Wendy's.
Are you good with that, Pam?
I am good with whatever Jason ascribes to me.
Oh my gosh.
the power you're giving him.
I think
Most in whimsical trust.
it makes sense to me for it to be the Waste because they're both kind of wanderer characters, although Sunset typically is on foot. It's rare, I think, for Hound to be outside of Gabi. So there was probably broke down, and that's probably the situation where she was trying to fix it. Yep. And like I said, Sunset, I mean, she's a battle babe. So
she wanders into trouble and makes more trouble. Right?
She wanders into trouble and makes more trouble. But yes, like helped get them out of there. I think there was probably a very stony, not talking at all ride away from there. But yeah.
So let me put a couple of names to this. You've ran into there was a Wendy's tribe that saw Gob and came out. You helped when they maybe had trapped or penned or put you in some serious shit, Hound, and you I'm assuming you killed a few Wendy's. There were two kind of known Wendy's. Their names were Junior Bacon and the elder one, Baconator. Which one of the two did not survive this fight? This is the HX for Hound, so I'll let you determine it, Hound.
What was the first? It was Baconator, and what was the other one?
Junior Bacon.
Junior Bacon is dead meat. Literally dead meat.
There you go. Junior Bacon is dead.
Long live Junior Bacon.
And Baconator wants bloody revenge that you took his Junior Bacon from him. I like it. I like it a lot. Cool. Then that was one, right? You have another one. So what other HX do you have?
The other one I have, because the last one I've got with Rolo. So the other one I've got is, which one of you has been with me for days on the road?
You good with that gig?
So what would that mean?
Great question. What would that mean? I know that we've already established Hound will ferry people back and forth, so that could be a thing. Or it could be something a little more purposeful, like there could have been some kind of setup for junk radio, travel to topside. What do you think makes sense for you guys?
Well, I know that I'm all about trying to find beauty in the world. Is it possible that I could have commissioned you to drive me out well beyond where people have gone before in search of something beautiful?
Oh, hell yeah. Well beyond where people have gone before. I am so down with that. You know why? Because people aren't out there. That's why.
Okay. So I think I put a temporary installment in your Greyhound so that I could report while on the road. and we did Planet Junk with Sir Grig, right? Like Planet Earth.
Mhm.
Okay. And I don't know what became of that. Rich, what became of that trip?
Huh.
Did I make any enemies?
I think it would, of course, make sense for there to be some run-ins there. Would you have found some beauty in during your travels? You discovered a gigantic cylinder that cast in the night this eerie, almost phosphorescent green glow. And you saw a small grouping of men and women dressed in dingy gray robes. And that cylinder, it was as bright as a small sun. There were mounds of junk that were as if they were built up like small hills to kind of capture it, to hold it in so that it couldn't be seen across the horizon. And it was extremely warm, even at night when normally the temperature drops. Yes. I couldn't understand what was just said.
Sorry, I was closing windows and one of them decided to talk.
I was going to say, because that didn't sound like your voice or Pam, so I was like, someone's doing a new voice. Is that Goat? Anyway. So, yes, that's is that beauty? That is a thing that you found off in the wastes, past where any windies dare to tread. And for days after, you were sick to your stomach, and your skin itched for a while.
Was there a ceremony going on that they let me participate in?
Oh, would you have approached?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Yes. There definitely would have been a ceremony you could have participated in. You would have found that this is some kind of weird lepers colony that they often have, like all of these gatherings of this flock. They have some kind of cancerous growths. A lot of them have open sores. They look very frail, and all of their stuff is to the Great Engine. All their religion is based around the Great Engine and the lost technologies of the worlds before.
Yeah, I think someone there had some hope that inspired me, and that I found beautiful.
Let's put a name to that person. Let us say that they are
Emergency exit.
Emergency exit. Okay, that works for me. Emergency exit had a great deal of hope. She shared with you this speaking box. She could press in these like glyphs, and it would speak them to you. And sometimes she could form them into words. And it taught her language.
Oh wow, that sounds incredible. She gave that to me?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. That's incredible. Okay, cool. Very happy with that.
Good. How about Pam? Is Hound happy with that? Does that seem like enough detail for you? Because I don't see what Hound did during this. What did Hound do?
trying to decide between. I mean, because she's fundamentally irreverent, and this sounds like the opposite of irreverent. So she was probably busy picking debris out of the hover engines and staying out of the way.
You know, they probably had a lot of parts there that you could use to improve and fix up Gabi. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
You use the 5-finger discount.
They were a little busy. They were busy with their ritual. They wouldn't miss it. They had so much.
Cool. You stole some parts from the great engine.
No,
No?
I
Liberated.
long time borrowed them. Yes, I liberated them.
So somehow Gobstopper has a few things that might have once been part of the great engine.
Well, Gobstopper is naturally enticing to machinery. So can you blame the parts for wanting to quit this massive ritualistic, dogmatic unification bullshit to come over and travel the world? Gabi? I don't think so.
That makes sense.
And
I'm sure they understand.
Yeah, in Weirdo Houndsford way it does.
That's such a fun little side trick. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Cool. That takes care of all of Hound's checks. Let's bounce over to Sunset.
Much like the news, I have one question that's the same for everyone. So I will start with Greg. And this question is whether or not I can trust you. So, can I trust Greg?
We have the same history. I guess it's different.
Trust and telling the truth are different.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I will tell you the truth, and I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you trust me?
If it's uncertain, I would just go to no, but
God, there has to be a qualifier for that.
Yeah, it's a no, because if she does anything to get in the way of the truth, you're like, F you.
well, like I said, Sunset's pretty direct, so
I'm gonna say yes.
all right.
Yes, you can trust me.
Okay. Hound, can Sunset trust you?
Actually, yes. I think that she is as trustworthy as she can be. I mean, she's capricious, but where Sunset is concerned, I think she's trustworthy.
Fair enough.
That reads.
Rolo, can Sunset trust you?
Yes.
You terrible, terrible people.
That's okay. I'll just make it a little harder.
I'll happily kill you if that's what. I mean,
No. It's just with the battle babe. If I can trust you, I actually get -1 HX because I don't know what to make of it. But if I can't trust you, I get a +3.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
That's all good.
And then, Rolo, our water bearer, you have some HX to work out with Sunset and Grig.
Yeah, I don't know if this question is even if there's a point in asking it, but because I've already got the one with. Unless I can throw out. I mean, normally when one person takes it, right, it's done. So I'll read the question. Does anybody else serve the source?
Why don't you describe what that means? Yeah, what does that mean to serve the source?
That means protecting Oasis, the clean water, that little beautiful underground paradise.
You mean do I serve the most beautiful thing I've ever seen? I think I do.
Well, They color me surprised. Somebody else does serve the source.
I serve the source.
You don't have to sound happy about it.
That's Gobstopper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you know the answer to that question from me pretty easily.
That was my only other question I had.
Well, multiple. Those are characters, like so. Multiple people can serve the source. So does Sunset serve the source?
She really doesn't.
Okay, then if multiple people can, because it is thrown out to the
Yeah, it says characters.
where oh I hate that it comes up on a different thing. But back to that. Which one of you once gave me water in the wilderness, real or metaphoric? And that Hound once did that.
Hound did that. I think you're just getting HX +1 for Sunset because you saw her coming.
You saw him coming. Cool. All right, that works out our HX. So then the last little character-related session prep is I'm calling for new highlights because 2 characters don't have highlights. We will start with Hound. Please look on your sheet and see who has the highest HX, who you have the highest HX with on your sheet, and ask them to highlight one of your stats.
Hang on, I was going to say this was easy. Rolo.
I just actually wrote something on Everyday Apocalypse about the whole process of highlighting, and now I'm not prepared for it.
I'm gonna actually unhighlight the ones you have highlighted right now. Boop, there you go. Now it's cleared.
Dang it. Because should you ask what's your high thing? I'm just gonna go with cool. So suck it if that's not what you want. I'm a horrible person.
No, that's fine.
I am going to go for hot. Please also highlight hot. Grig.
Hound, please highlight a stat for me.
Hang on, I gotta look.
Okay.
This is an important decision.
It is.
Weird.
Okay.
Sharp.
Okay.
Rolo. Who highlights you?
That looks like it is now Grig.
Yep.
Hard.
Ooh, nice one. Hot.
Dang it.
And last but not least, Sunset.
Everyone is equally bad for me.
So you get to choose.
I will pick Rolo on account of Rolo hasn't highlighted anyone.
Well, I'm gonna say I love cool again, so
I also love cool.
I want you to be cool.
I will shock you all by calling for hot.
Well, you are nothing if not consistent.
I am actually. I did call sharp for one person, but I call hot for everybody else. Hot all around. Good. So that's all of our prep. Now we can do the game stuff. Anybody want to take a break?
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, we'll call a 5-minute break, and then we'll jump straight back into where we had left off. And we'll position where Grig and Sunset are, and then we'll go.
Hi.
Thank you.
You need to what?
All right, welcome back, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. In last session, the contingent of Upper 10, the hard holder of Sector or Sector 10, had gotten onto a very, like a, if I remember correctly, it was like a U-Haul van. Not nearly the amenities of Gobstopper, but, you know, big. And he had several of his guards led by Haribo and a parade guard of the Candy Bar Gang who traveled with him. The intent was the Gobstopper was taking you, Rolo, as well as your branded from Sector across the wastes, trying to circumvent the majority of the Wendy's territory, which takes you through quite a bit of junk, potential of getting trapped, or other pitfalls, headed towards Oasis. We're going to pick up with you guys in that travel. So the question I have for you, Sunset, is did you begin this travel with this group, or have you just happened upon them as they have stopped?
So are the candy bars are currently working for Upper 10?
Yes. They've been offered something, and Upper 10's good at making deals, and they're basically there to ward off any potential trouble.
So...
Oh, I'm sorry. Also, there are 3 of Upper 10's wives, because he always travels with a few of his wives.
Fair enough. I think that Sunset was actually rolling with the candy bars for the time being. The idea being that there are stories to be had, and again, they are wanderers. So she was just kind of with them for the moment to pick up stories. And Oasis seems like as good a place to move to next as any. For one thing, they've got that radio tower there. I hear you can sing into a can.
That is great. So here are the things that we'll just establish for your sake with your relationship with the candy bars and your knowledge of them. Here's what you picked up so far. Clark is the leader. She's not been the leader for long. AJ and Watcha are an item. Watcha is the most dangerous, most volatile member of the Candy Bar Gang. She seems to like to start shit, and then AJ has to come around and solve it. AJ's lost an eye. That's why she has her white and purple striped hair. It covers her left eye. She lost it, meaning it was shot out in a fight. And Zero is their mechanic. She's pretty quiet, almost mousy, especially in a bunch of brash group that is the candy bars. And then Abba is the person who often, like right now, she would probably be the one that you ride with. She trains in new members of the candy bars. She's the no nonsense, been there for a while. She's the oldest active member. Very few candy bars actually retire alive, although when you die, you still get to be retired. I would imagine that the candy bars, knowing you don't lie, will often ask you very uncomfortable questions to watch you squirm. Like, how do I look? That is their running joke, is that they, no matter how terrible they might look, they will ask, how do I look? And they only refer to Hound as a Sour Patch Kid.
I hate them.
I love that. I support that entirely.
Yeah, they seem aggressively teasing. Like none of them are actually going to start shit with Hound because it seems counterproductive. And there's also like this weird grudging respect because she's a really good driver, but they really are not going to ever give, like verbally, they will never give her credit. We'll always call her a Sour Patch Kid. There seems to be history. The candy bars often at night. This is a 3-day trip, and the first night they do like they normally do in their garage. They kind of pretty much just sleep in a pile. They throw down a couple blankets and they just all cuddle up together. It's not sexual. Like, it's to maintain warmth and just a thing that they do. Do you sleep in a pile? There's no judgment, they say, if you don't.
No, I think she sleeps in the pile.
Cool.
That's just practicality.
Yeah, exactly. They're practical that way. The candy bars, because this is Junk World, they drive a mix of hover bikes as well as grounders. So are you on a hover? Is Abba Zaba driving a hover or a grounder?
I'm going to go with hover because I'd rather, and I have a choice.
There you go. That's why I gave you the choice, so you could choose. That's the thing I do, is I give choices. And I'm looking up the Abba Zaba to remind me. Yes, so it is a garish yellow with black checkerboard. It's like a yellow and black checkerboard. And there are on the sides, there are a couple of like duct taped on plastic wrappers of Abba Zabas, because hashtag stay on brand. Cool. Greg, you were and I'm just reiterating, if you've had better ideas, let me know. You were traveling with this caravan, correct?
Yeah. I think my latest gig has been talking with and observing and preparing to report on Upper 10. So like not a puff piece, but like a biography kind of thing. Which
he's super down for that.
Okay, cool. I'm glad he can see the political need for a narrative. So
yes, he needs the narrative. He's very excited about going to Oasis. I would imagine that he's given you quite a few sound bites and is hopeful that you'll be getting that up and out on the wave. So can you broadcast while you're mobile?
I think I did it once on my trip to the Great Engine. But it costs too much to maintain. So I've just been recording our conversations.
What's your setups look like?
What do you mean?
You don't have to get super technical. I mean, it could just be like a general theme.
But the setup for like recording an interview?
Yeah. Sorry, that wasn't clear at all. Your setup for recording on field recordings, what does it look like? Do you have like a old style tape recorder, like those long ones that have the cassette tapes in it, or do you have some kind of digital something?
I think what I have found is it's some sort of disc-based media.
Nice.
Like,
is it a Sony mini disc recorder or something? Oh, it's just...
Yeah, let's go for that then. Yeah, so we put it in between us. I have a Japanese style picnic blanket. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these before.
Oh, that's so pretty.
But like the idea is that you put everything in the center of one of these, and then you just sort of pull them up to the four corners and start tying down the corners, and you've got like a way to carry any shapen thing. And so I kind of keep it like a holy relic that way. And it was given to me by my mom. I have decided to overwrite the messages she left me, but they are still written in my head. So I have to reuse the discs.
Oh, wow. Helen, she offered this setup to you, right? But you turned it all down when you left.
Yeah.
And now Greg's carrying it around. Oh, wait, I mixed up. I mixed up some things. Sorry about that. Sorry. I flip-flopped in my head.
I'm thinking of, I was like, what?
You're all sisters.
Oops. Sorry. Yes, everyone's related. It's all one big family. No, take that back. So, yeah.
One in the gobstopper.
I would be surprised if that looks similar to some stuff that your mother has used, Sunset and Hound. And now I'm back on track. Sorry about that, guys. Cool. So we pick up on the second day. You should be able to hit Oasis with good travel early tomorrow. Of course, the candy bars, Abba Zaba would have bragged or mentioned to you a few times, Sunset, that she could have gone there and back by now because they can just let it out and really burn. But that's not the job. As the sun starts to head towards the horizon, question for you, Rolo, the baby, 8-month-old, ruddy, colored young baby boy that you saved from a Wendy's camp. Maybelline has cared for it. It's some chewing up food and regurgitating so he can eat it, which is a little weird, but he doesn't seem to mind. But she would normally stay in the U-Haul van with Upper 10. So is the baby there, or is the baby in Gobstopper, or are you in the U-Haul? Where are you positioned? Where's the baby?
I've let the baby travel with her some, when we stop, maybe switching out. But when it gets close to we're going to do the overnight. I'm still probably going to let her deal with the baby who I called something, and now she's got
Souvenir.
Souvenir, yeah. And she's come up with a much better name, I think. But I actually want to talk to Upper 10 about the whole baby thing.
Oh, that sounds like a great opening sequence then.
I like it.
I like it a lot. Anyone else who wants to be in earshot or involved, feel free. So we pick up with you heading to speak to Upper 10. So Upper 10 is in the U-Haul. Ludens, if you remember, Ludens is the 12-year-old boy who's a really good mechanic. He travels with the group. And they've welded in some accoutrement here, so it's not just an open space. He's got a couple of racks set up and include two mattresses, really nice, clean mattresses. That's the one he gets to sleep on with whichever wife he chooses to invite. And of course, it's their option. And he has a really dope looking chair that's bolted in. He has a little harness he could put in if he wants, or a little seat belt. And you come to see him. There's a small makeshift bassinet there. Maybelline is sitting by it and tending it. Greg, I assume you're here, right? Makes sense to me.
I am.
Cool. So let's establish which one of the wives that you have grown close to. Are you close to Radiant? Are you close to Combi? Are you close to Hitachi? Radiant, Combi, the CO is like comb eye, or Hitachi.
Do you have anything in mind for who they are besides their names?
I have grabbed their names and we will build them on the spot.
Then Radiant sounds the most likely to me.
Okay. What is it about Radiant that you find the most appealing or interesting?
Um, she seems to have her own opinions. Like she thinks about things more than others before speaking.
And what's something about Radiant that you find that you two don't agree on, or you find problematic, or is just something you don't talk about?
I cover myself up, and she's barely covered.
That reads. I like that a lot. Is Radiant pretty, or is she pretty to you?
How does Upperton choose his trophy wives?
It's a mix. Some of his wives are smart. Some of them are capable. Some of them are attractive.
I think Radiant is very, to use a term of our times, I think she's very butch. And I don't know if other people find her attractive, but I do.
Cool. Okay. Good. So she is there sitting on. Let's say she's sitting on the floor. She's just grabbed a cushion and is sitting on the floor. Upper 10 is at the chair. Maybelline is with Souvenir for the moment. You guys have stopped. This is an early evening stop. And right now people are eating. They stopped for food. You headed out of Gob to come back and speak with them, Rolo. How many of your branded are with you?
You're muted.
I didn't tell any of them to come with me, nor did I stop them. So there's probably 2 that drift along.
I'm going to go with Majestrix. And let's see who else makes sense. Panache? He's the one who got bit. And Majestra is the female who's kind of been a little bit of your second command, and then Panache. Those are 2 we've most often featured. Is that cool, or do you want me to?
No, that's fine by me.
All right. Rolo, hey, you want some food? Come have a seat. We got fish, believe it or not. But we also got some oil, a little bit of bread. It's all from Sector. The bread that we make is really good. Got a guy who knows about that. So, come in, have a bite. You want some wine? You drink, right? It's not just water for you, right?
No, I drink.
Hey, I'm curious. Water bearer, like when you piss, is that like bearing water, or is that just a thing?
It's just piss.
All right. Just curious. Just curious.
Understandable. It's magical piss, though, but it's piss.
He chuckles at that. Wait, you're joking, right? You're joking. It's not magic. Wait, is it? Is it for real? Like, do you collect it in jars? You like trade it out? Because we could start a thing.
It is magical, but we don't trade it. We save it up.
Combi, take some notes on this shit. This is funny. Hey, Greg, you got this? Did you take this? Yeah.
Sorry. She nods. Right? Like he's offering her something, right? Just to make.
Oh, like the story. You getting this down?
Oh,
Magic piss, collecting jars. Got like a room, an oasis. It's like here's the water bearer's born water or whatever. That's good. That's good. It's funny. It's funny. Hey, what you need, man? Just to eat?
No, I've already eaten. I was just coming to talk about the future. Since we stopped here, I thought, I would talk to you about what you thought about the future of Souvenir here.
Well, I mean, it's another mouth to feed. It's a windy baby, so it's going to be messed up. I'm not into killing kids, right? Who would? Not a monster. A lot of mouths to feed in the sector, though. We don't have it like you do. I figured you were going to take it. Maybelline, she's always talking, but don't worry about her. We'll work it out. It's fine. It's fine. Why? You want to sell it to me or something?
No. I just know that Maybelline is interested and has been asking me to let her care for the child. And I thought that man to man, I shouldn't be saying yes to that without, having talked to you about your position on it.
He looks over at Maybelline. Maybelline does not meet his gaze. He doesn't look super pleased. She had mentioned that to me. I should probably talk to her. She is my wife.
Certainly. I'm sure.
Well, if you're inclined, like if she wanted it, you would leave Souvenir with her?
Oh, I wouldn't just be leaving her with you, as I believe, right? I'd be leaving Souvenir with Maybelline and you. And could the child get a better father than you?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. No. I guess I'm just making sure that you're not asking for Souvenir. You're not asking for Souvenir and Maybelline, right? You're not asking to take Maybelline.
No, of course not.
All right.
She's your wife.
Yeah, of course she is. Smart girl. A little too much ink, but otherwise, pretty.
And she does seem to be good with little Souvenir.
Yeah, have a couple drinks. Let's talk a little bit more about this. So we cut away from that. We'll lead up to, I think you're trying to manipulate him to allow Maybelline to keep Souvenir, right? Is that what we're setting up here?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So we'll come back to that. We're going to cut outside. So Gobstopper's a little low on fuel. You've got enough to make it all the way to Oasis without having to dip into any significant reserves as long as there aren't any problems. But you guys are pulling a very wide, safe arc around windy territory. What is it about this territory that you have heard keeps the windies at bay? Is it that it's rough territory, tough to travel on foot? Is there something superstitious about this particular area? Is it patrolled by other gangs that you guys have better relationships with? What is it?
Just to clarify, you're talking to Hound, right?
Did I not say Hound? I said Obstopper. I never transitioned to talk to Hound, did I? I'm talking to the giant bus because I'm an idiot. How about Hound? Maybe it's
Picturing Thomas the Train Engine now.
Oh, Sir Topham Hatt in Apocalypse World would be kind of terrifying.
That would be awesome, actually. Actually, that would be awesome. My first inclination, because I am a little on the wackadoodle side, is that my theory is that we have brain-consuming zombie bike riders. But I would say that it's actually more that the the territory is protected by hang on, I've got an idea. I just have to think of the right name for it.
Do you want me to cut away and come back?
No. I'm going to say it's protected by a secretive gang. Again, bike riders, right? People that ride on hover bikes that are called the Halos. No one ever sees them, but they are known to show up when somebody is in distress and causing trouble for someone else. They're peacekeepers, basically. They've only seen like 3 or 4 of them at a time, but they're well equipped, and they're like Batman, you know. People talk about them, but actual sightings is like myth, legend. I don't know, but it's enough to keep the Halos are enough to keep the Wendy's at bay, because one of their members was found staked out. Not like dead, just like trussed up and left out in the sun. So basically left for dead. With a note saying, you know, don't come this way again. Don't hurt these people again, or, you know, find the straight and narrow path. And then it was signed by Master Chief.
I love it. Oh, wow.
Which means they're literally going to be Master Chief of Cortana. So your pick.
I did not see that coming.
You thought of another Halo, didn't you?
I did. That is just lovely. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the Xbox. Oh, my. Like, they just write around. Oh.
Yes, exactly.
That's it. That's pretty dope. Oh, Martin McDonald music. I love it. Okay, that is pretty great. So Gabi is idling down. You guys have stopped for a meal. You, of course, could eat as you're going. The wind starts picking up. Now, Junk World is a pretty hot place, but it's primarily a desert with a junkyard that's been dropped on top of it, which is what makes the oasis so unique.
And important.
Very important. And you see dark clouds along the horizon. And you can see they're starting to move across. They were farther away earlier. You weren't sure if they would dissipate or blow off, but it looks like a storm is coming. You also notice this sunset and the candy bars. I'll say the Abba Zaba will mention, no pile tonight. We're going to need a tent up. She looks up in the air, into the sky. So Hound, what do you do when you see the storm? Maybe it's a few hours away, maybe not. You're not sure. It's coming in pretty fast, though.
So where are we exactly terrain-wise?
You are in a large part of the junk in an area that's supposedly protected by the Halos. There's a large kind of trash ridge to your east, to the east of you, that kind of boxes you away from the Wendy's territory.
Mm-hmm.
And you're about a day away from Oasis. If you were to drive on through the night, you could probably end up in Oasis in the late morning. But wiser travel is to bed down for the night. And with a storm coming, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Rick. I was just going to say that's probably what I was trying to figure out, is if there is a sheltered place where we can, with the storm coming up and everything, where we could safely hunker down. Because I'm clearly not going to risk that. Especially because I don't think that Gabi is back up to 100% after the run-in that we had with the
Wendy's?
The what?
Wendy's.
Yeah.
Yeah. The miles. So yeah.
Cool. So I imagine that Gabi kind of leads the way through a lot of the trash, so you're probably the first in the line of the caravan. Is this something you want to suggest to the others, or are you just going to pack up and let them figure it out? How do you handle that?
Well, I'm not responsible for anybody other than myself. So on the other hand, I can make a pretty big obstacle to get around. So I'm going to veer off to one side, which is probably means that Gabi's backside might be jutting out a little bit in the way, and then just power down. They can go out if they want to or figure it out. Want to, but they have to get around me.
We were already powered down, weren't we?
Yeah, you guys have stopped to grab a bite to eat. Basically
okay.
to kind of eat.
I thought you said, or we could be eating on the way. So I did not know.
Yeah, you're right. That was like a side thought of like, as I was talking, I realized, Hound probably eats as she's driving. So that was also very unclear in the question I was trying to ask in the situation I was setting up.
Just had this image of her rocking while she's driving one of those old school hats that has the plate, like Rich, you're a baseball fan, you know about these. They have the cup holder and then the straw that leads down from the hat. So that you can, one of those. So that she can drink without having to actually take her hands off the controls.
That's very adorable.
Yes.
Those things are quite goofy looking. I love it.
They're tacky as hell. I think that in that respect, she will go in and fully power down, and say, yo, Storm bad. Stay here good. You guys want to go on, you can go on. I'm saying. Just saying.
Clark says aloud to the candy bars as they're reaching into their bikes and kind of pulling out tent stakes in a small tent. She says, "Hey, I think Sour Patch is saying something. Can you hear Sour Patch, Sunset? I can't quite hear. What is it she's saying?"
Hey, John, move the camera over this way. Okay. Can you hear this? No, can you hear this? Want me to turn it up?
So Sunset's just gonna take a drink for her bottle and go. She says it's fucking stupid to keep on going. But she says it kind of dumb.
Sunset.
Yeah.
Can you hear this? Want me to turn it up?
No, that's a hand motion. You can't hear them.
How is your name Sunset instead of Captain Oblivious?
Because I never served in the military.
Oh my God, for like 5 seconds 3 weeks ago, I missed you.
Well, you're up on me then. I don't miss you at all.
Oh, that hurts my feelings.
Oh, the candy bars eat that up. Even Zero chuckles at that one. Oh man, they start. Oh man, don't miss you at all, Sour Patch. Oh, that's gotta hurt, man. Ooh. They start pitching their one tent, hammering down a couple stakes and getting things set up.
I was going to offer a couple of you a chance to stay inside my luxurious, well-appointed vehicle, but screw you guys. I'm staying in here by myself. You guys get rained on. That's fine.
Watches sneers and says, "Sour Patch, if we wanted in Gob, we'd take it."
Can you stand up? Because it doesn't look like there's a fucking army with you.
Wow. Well, Watch is going to take a few steps towards you, and AJ reaches out and grabs her shoulder and says, "Hey. It's fine. It's fine." Watch it looks back at her. It's just her. Yes, but then all of this breaks, and Upper 10's pissed, and then the garage and all the other stuff, plus the thing that we're trying to do.
Wait, what's going on?
Watch this. Shut up, Sour Patch. We're not talking to you.
Oh, excuse me for like having a temporary bout of compassion. I should know better.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah,
And she turns and heads back to the tent and
remind me of my mother. Only my mother was cool.
I don't see the resemblance even a little bit.
Was that sorry?
I don't see the resemblance even a little bit.
so we swing back into Upper 10's U-Haul van. And oh, did John step away? Okay,
Oh.
You're still there. That's right. You've angled. Okay, just want to make sure. So John, let's see you make this seduce or manipulate roll. Roll with hot.
Where'd my character sheet go? Well, we'll just bring it up again.
Seriously, we have like 6 tabs open for different things.
All the tabs. Tab all the things.
Oh my gosh.
It's highlighted, so you get to mark XP.
I am so calling you Drax, by the way. Sunset.
I mean, the thing is that she's just being literal to annoy the hell out of you. Like, she knows the difference, but she's going to keep doing it. She does the same thing when they come and ask her, how am I looking? You're like, you're about 5'7", your hair is black and pink.
I apologize as I... There it is. Holy mackerel.
I don't see it.
No, I had to actually find my character sheet. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the thing about when you pop out the character sheets. I don't do it anymore because I'll lose a character sheet and then you can't like get it back. I actually had to close down Chrome once, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to open it and close it.
Whoop. Partial success on that with an XP for you, so don't forget to mark that XP.
Oh, because you
Yeah. All right. So on a 7 to 9 for seduce or manipulate someone. On a 7 to 9, they'll go along with you, but they need some concrete assurance, corroboration, or evidence first.
Well, I mean, the evidence isn't that. Look, she's got the kid. Look, they're doing good. She keeps good care of him. Be nice for you to have a kid.
Would it? He's sitting there with a metal, like a tin plate, and there's some weird kind of sauce that they poured, like an oily sauce, some bread, and then the fish, which has been cooked up, and he's eating all of this, and he's got a little table, like they have a little TV tray that they've set up for Upper 10 for him to eat at his little throne. He's the only one who gets a TV tray. Everybody else has to, sit on their lap or whatever. He gets a TV tray.
It keeps Maybelline happy.
Yeah. That's great and all. That's great and all. I'll tell you what. Here's the deal. We'll give it a shot. If it doesn't quite work out, you take him back. Yeah?
I'm willing to work with you on that. Sure, of course.
All right, look at this, Greg. Taking care of little windy children. Not that we want to start some kind of refugee camp or whatever, but that's good stuff, right, Greg?
Yes, it allows you to have an heir for succession.
What do you mean by that? I mean, I got lots of wives. They can just, when they get old and die, they'll just take over. I don't need like an upper 11.
Oh. Okay. So this is a trophy child then.
Just a child? How about no trophy attached?
I don't know. I'm kind of liking the trophy child, Greg. That's good. That's good. I like that.
There you go.
Like a trophy baby. Trophy baby. It makes me warm. I'll kiss the baby from time to time. People like that, right? I've seen that. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. There's a rap on the U-Haul door, and Clark opens it up, sticks her head in. She's like 5.5 feet tall. So you mostly just see her head and a little bit of her upper body as she opens up the U-Haul, the back of the U-Haul, and she calls in, "Hey, we're bedding down for the night. I'll pretend there's a bad storm coming, so you guys need to whatever you do." And she shuts the door. And Souvenir starts to cry. Like, just suddenly, he's normally a really quiet baby, and he just starts to cry. Not sure if it was the door closing or just a thing the babies do. Greek, what do you do?
I'm paying very close attention to Maybelline. I want to see how she deals with the crying child. And I'm going to step in if I feel like she isn't taking care of the child well.
So she starts off, and her brows crease. It's almost like, oh, this is a new thing. How do I deal with it? And then she pulls the babe up. He's 8 months old, right? So he's a big little baby. Puts her against her breast, and then he's still crying. So she pats his back, still crying. She checks. He does not need to be changed. And so now she tries to figure out maybe he needs to eat some food, and she starts chewing up some food for him to spit into his mouth. He keeps turning his face, and he's still crying. And Upper 10 says, "Holy shit! Do something about this kid, mate." And she gets up and she's going to walk out of the U-Haul because she can't get this solved.
I'll follow after.
Cool. Radiant will too. I have a picture up for Radiant on the Roll20 on the left-hand side, just underneath Maybelline. What do you think? Does that fit?
Thumbs
Is that
up.
good?
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Butch enough?
Yep. No, it works.
All right, cool. So yeah, Radiant will get up. She follows behind. Like, she's not going to interpose herself here. She just keep an eye on stuff. Upper 10 looks over at you after they leave. That was starting to get annoying. Shit.
Kids cry sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I knew that. I mean, they're kids at Secta. They usually work Firestone. You know, the hands are small. They can get really good at clean up the junk.
Yeah. A lot of crying in the caves, you know. You get used to it.
So we cut back outside to you, Sunset. The tent is like halfway constructed. Did you partake in it or just let them do their own thing?
I think Sunset actually helped get the tent up.
Nice.
Because, like, part of it is that it is a storm. She doesn't actually doubt Hound's assessment of the storm coming in, and thinks that is probably better to be part of the group that's outside under the tent for various reasons, but would rather have the shelter up.
Cool. I'm imagining it's like a dome tent. It's really made for like 4 people, but all the Acadians are going to get in and pile up. And while all this is going, they're like hammering in the tent little stakes and stuff, and they're mismatched. Like some are plastic, some are little metal stakes, stuff like that. It's mishmash. There are big swaths of duct tape of different colors that are holding it together, a few layers. There's like a jacket at one point. It looks like it's kind of been sewn in. And this whole time that you guys put this tent together, Watch is just complaining about Hound. Like Sour Patch this, Sour Patch that. She's just trying to work her. Either she's trying to work everybody else up to her side, or she's just trying to work herself up to do something. And AJ said a few things, but at this point, she's let it lie. What do you do?
If she's still talking about like doing stuff against Hound,
Yeah.
I think she's going to keep on working and say very plainly to her.
Do they know that's your sister?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, we'll just say they have no idea.
She's going to say very plainly while she's working, Watcha, I might not miss Hound, but if you made a move against her, I'd have to gut you. And that would probably end my time here. So, I'm going to ask politely, once, for you to shut up and get back to work.
Are you, because of that, I will have to gut you? It sounds
I don't lie.
Yeah, and
if she makes the move against Hound, that's the situation. That's the caveat.
So I'm trying to see, are you...
I'll roll an aggro if you want.
I think you are. Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Okay. Aggro.
That's hard.
It is not. It is cool.
Oh, for you it's cool?
I am ice cold.
Oh, nice. On a 10 plus. Oh, I think that's highlighted for you.
It is.
So mark that XP. On a 10 plus, they have to choose. Force your hand. Sorry. Force your hand and suck it up, or cave and do what you want. Do you just plainly lay this out? And Watcha looks over at AJ like, is she real? And AJ nods back like, yeah, this could go bad. I'm going to go look for water, Watcha says, and she stalks off.
Sunset doesn't even look up and just keeps working on the tent. Like, paying her no mind at all.
Nice. Abba just moves over to put a hand on your back and just pats it. Like, kind of sort of good job, but not going to say anything out loud with AJ around. So we'll swing around to Gobstopper because we haven't heard from Hound since all those mean candy bars said mean things.
Sorry, babe, you are muted.
Mean candy bars.
I know. Is anyone riding in Gobstopper? Just Rolo, right? Rolo and the branded?
I can't remember anybody that
Well, there's the brand. There were 6 branded that came with.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. That's actually quite a bit for Gob, right? I mean, that's 8 people total.
Well, it's 7 more people than I want, but yeah. No, I mean there's room, but that's pretty much, you know, if we're being comfortable, it's not like I've got rows and rows of seats. But although John keeps reminding me that Gob is a combination of a Greyhound bus and a Nebuchadnezzar. So
there's probably a lot of seats.
Bigger than I think.
Oh, you got Chiclet too. You got Chiclet as well. With a prosthetic. So I imagine that after your conversation with the candy bars, Chiclet will get up and she still is walking slowly and a little awkwardly on her new leg, and she says, don't worry about those stupid candy bars. They're fine. We'll shoot them if we have to.
They just blah, 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 blah. They like running their mouths.
They're just jealous that you're not a candy bar, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. They wanted me to be one, and I told them to, you know, because I don't do that. I'm an individual. I really don't like being locked into groups. I don't. That's the honest truth. I don't know why I'm being honest with you. Why am I being honest with you?
Well, why would you need to lie to me? I mean,
I lie to everybody.
oh,
Mostly to myself. But yeah.
You must like me.
That's probably true.
No, we're drivers. We drive. Hey, do you think I could drive Gobstopper tomorrow for a little bit? I need to get this new leg and figure it out.
Oh, Lord. That's a hard question. Good God. Woo, okay, so I don't let just, I don't let people drive unless my hands are broken. And they're not broken, but they're kind of tired. So I could maybe use some time away from the controls and the wheel tomorrow. If you happen to be the person that is closest by that notices my hands are getting tired and I need some time away from the controls, you might be the best person to take over for a little bit. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. If I notice that, I'll let you know.
Yes, you can drive some tomorrow. Don't tell anybody I let you do it, like knock me out or something. I'm going to lose my street cred.
She looks back at the branded. They're not going to tell anyone. They just stay down in Oasis. They're kind of boring.
That's true.
They're not like us, where we get out in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look you up.
Cool.
Might be fun.
And I won't tell anyone if you've got a thing. It's fine.
Don't let anybody think I'm actually nice or anything.
That storm's coming in. Like it's nearly on top of you. The winds have picked up and you can hear it whistling outside. And everyone starts to batten down the hatches, close doors, pull up ranks. The tent is out there. You can see that the wind is carrying a lot of the dust and the sand and a whole lot of trash. And you can almost see it like a brownish wall that comes your way.
Is it it's like a dust storm, right?
Yeah, it's coming. But we're going to pick up with Greg having followed out Maybelline as this storm starts to pick up. You can sense it's coming, Greg. Maybelline is walking, trying to get this baby's cries out of Upper 10's ears. She seems very stressed about this. Baby's being inconsolable. But she started walking and has walked past the candy bars and is just kind of walking down the road that you guys have traveled. Like, maybe if I walk far enough, the baby will stop crying. What do you do?
So I have a history of the world kind of question that I need to ask before I can.
Okay. Yeah.
Sunset. What music still exists? Do I have if I were to go up and say, let's do a lullaby, would she look at me like I'm talking Greek?
The problem is that most of what there is pieces of music and there's no real context because most of the words change their meaning. So for instance, a very popular lullaby would be the jingle to Juicy Fruit. Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. Like that.
Sure. Do you, as part of your character background, are you are you the only ones that know those songs?
The general problem is that most recording things break down quickly. You can still have them, but yes, Sunset does know those songs. Absolutely.
Okay.
But there is music. Just
There is music. It's just it's hodgepodge patchwork. Catch as catch can. I think that there's probably other people that do performances, like Skinners are a thing in this world. So what makes Sunset distinct is that the kind of music she specializes in is historical in nature.
Okay. All right. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that, like, if I didn't, that I was going to suggest something like that, you know, it wasn't going to break your character concept.
No, that's why. I mean, for one thing, I'm inserting into the world that they've already put in there. So no, I think that's fine.
Okay. Okay. So to answer your question, Rich, I try to catch up to her, and I'm like, hey, let's and I look back over my shoulder, and what I'm thinking about is, like, I feel like my voice could probably calm the baby, but I'm not going to be the baby's mom, it looks like. So I want to teach Maybelline how to take care of the child. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm like, hey, why don't you try, you know, putting him up to your chest and, like, talking to him, or singing to him. Do you know any songs? Do you know the Double Mint song, right?
I don't think I know any song. It was so close. It was so close. He like said yes, and now does the baby not want me? Did I do something wrong? Like Radiant. Maybe Radiant's supposed to have the baby. I just wanted to be happy, and if I could just be close to him. I don't know any songs. I'm not like Sunset.
Okay. All right. So I want to teach you a song, and then you can teach the baby a song, okay?
Okay. And guys are having this conversation, and she has to keep talking louder because the baby's cries are picking up, and you can feel you see her hair in the wind a little bit as the early parts of this storm coming kind of whistle past you. Yeah. Just teach me the song. It's not too long, is it?
No. So, what's the song that she teaches her? What's something that might have survived? God, that's why I haven't had to think on the fly for for a while.
I know it's the trap of play-by-post. Like, oh yeah, I'll come with something really clever later. I'm gonna have lunch now.
Later in lunch.
A coffee commercial of some kind might be soothing.
I'm gonna teach her the theme song to Thundercats.
Oh, that is lovely. I think that you're trying to manipulate. Which is more concerning to you? Getting Maybelline to be calm and dealing with this, or reaching out to Souvenir and getting him to actually stop crying?
Damn.
I know. But that's legit, right? I mean, those are two different kind of goals.
My goal is to get Maybelline through this.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and you're trying to manipulate her.
Oh, okay.
Did you think you were hitting something else?
No, I just don't like the word manipulate, but I think it's the closest.
You're trying to seduce her to calmness.
All right. Forward, help, or interference. Is anyone interfering?
No.
Okay.
the baby.
That's true.
Right. All right, 8. That is not highlighted for you. You get a mixed result. So she says, like, sing it first. I'll catch up.
Okay. I'm gonna bring it up on the internet then. Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose. Feel the magic, hear the roar. Thundercats are loose. And then I'm not going to do the the rest of it because it's just thunder, thunder, Thundercats over and over and over.
Nice. She will start to join in with you, and then Radiant picks it up to try to help, and the 3 of you sing this song. The baby's cries, they drop down a little bit, like they're less that screaming where the baby has to like suck in a breath and then just hits it again. It drops to like a lower scream, a less panicked kind of worry. And by the 3rd time through, he's simpering and whimpering, and it seems like he's spent. And Maybelline is crying because you guys got through this moment. And she'll come over and still holding a souvenir, but she'll kind of half, it's like side hug you or try to pull you in without hurting souvenir. Greg, what do you do?
If that's what she needs right now, then that's what I'll give her. But it's not what I want at all. Like, I feel like that's why I'm covered in clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want that kind of contact. I don't want to give someone my sin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially after, when I went to that great place of beauty and all of my sin came out of my vomit and my the rashes and all that kind of stuff, like it was evident to me then that I'm just filled with it. But for the moment that I'll hug her. It's just I don't want to give that to her.
Man, that's rough. She doesn't seem to register the hesitation there. She just clutches on to you and says, thank you so much, Greg. I thought I was going to lose him. I really owe Rolo. What is he like? What is Rolo like? Do you know?
Rolo is the bearer of the source. He's always happy when someone volunteers at the Oasis.
I can't leave Upper. He'll be very mad. Can I volunteer without having to stay? Can I do that?
I think we could work something out.
You hear from behind you Radiant's voice. We should get inside. You guys did good work, but let's get inside.
Why don't we get inside the gobstopper? Keep the baby away from Upper 10 for a little while. Let him have his piece, and we can talk some more. Give the baby some room.
Maybelline considers it, looks over to Radiant, and Radiant says, yeah, I'll go tell Upper. I'll need to stay. But you should go. You should go, May. And Maybelline. Okay, I'll go with you, Greg. To Gobstopper. I'm not going by my hound's not very nice, and I don't think she likes me. You sure she'll let me in?
I will take care of all that. Follow me.
Cool. Well, she follows you, and you come to Gobstopper. We'll say this is just a little bit after the conversation that you had with Chicklet. Hound, the storm is nearly upon you when Grig comes and tapping at your door.
That's not a raven, right?
I am the Raven, actually. My station is Nevermore.
Yes!
Seriously?
It is.
It is actually.
Wow.
I can do a screen print showing you the information. But yeah.
Cool. So reference gotten and spiked. Nice. Yeah, it's too nasty outside to screw around. Come on in.
Cool. Maybelline will come in after you, Greg. Like, she definitely wants you to pave the way here.
Sure. I make sure it's obvious that I've got my 9mm on my back. Like, I'm not kidding around here. We're getting on we're getting on this vehicle. But I don't.
Would you like to see my ticket?
Yeah, right. So what's it like on the inside of the Gobstopper? What does the screen see? I want some visual detail. Lay it on me.
Once again, Greyhound bus made into Furiosa's truck, married with the Nebuchadnezzar. So basically, very post-apocalyptic, but there's still some remnants of, like, she's modified it to have some pop culture-y type of atmosphere. I mean, she's added in things so she can live on it, but a lot of it is very cobbled together, shall we say.
Is there like a leather couch that could hold 3 of us?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
Okay.
think the front end of it's like a tour bus, if you've ever seen one of those, where they have like the couch section and like a living area, and then like a bunk bed area as you go farther back. And then it still has cargo because she does do cargo hauling. So if it can't be strapped on the outside, I think she has.
I have cargo space in the end. Or if I don't want to strap it on the outside.
Okay. Well, then I get us on a couch and we settle in for the storm.
And there are several branded in here.
Okay. What does a branded look like?
They look like men and women in good shape, wearing scruffy, patched together clothing, and they all have a brand on their neck that is the symbol of Oasis, and you would know that that means that they have pledged their lives to defending Oasis.
Interesting. How do you feel about the fact that I don't have one?
Not everybody in Oasis has one. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
there are plenty of people who just work and stuff. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't. These people are like actively going out to do it. So they're either a gang that I have to buy with experience, I suppose, or just a little bit more active than the average people. I think all of these people also look like they've been in a battle. I mean, there's one girl in there whose leg literally was cut off just like 3 days ago, and she's on a brand new cybernetic leg. Well, a brand new ancient cybernetic leg, and is hopping around, but her pants are still like ripped up and bloodied from being, savaged by Wendy. So, I don't think they don't look like soldiers. For a world traveler like you, they're probably not the hardest looking defenders in the world.
Okay, cool. Thank you for all that.
Cool. So, Hound, it looks like you have 2 new people who will be crashing in your bus.
And a loud, stinky baby.
And a loud, stinky baby who, as the dust storm hits, you can hear the sound of the pitting sound of the against all of the glass in Gobstopper as the dust storm hits you here, and the baby starts crying again. Maybelline apologizes. I'm sorry. The storm makes him, he's scared of the storm. If we sing to them, if we sing to Souvenir, he'll calm down and she'll start to try to remember the words to the Thundercats song, but she's a little nervous, so it takes a little bit. Do you sing with her, Greg?
I do sing with her.
Cool. What about you, Hound? Do you jump into the Thundercats song, or I mean, you've got a radio. What do you care?
I mean, I have music on board.
Well,
actually,
because Jason said that keeping copies of music was really difficult.
That is correct. I'm not saying that they're clean copies. I'm not saying that they don't skip. I'm just saying I have copies of music on board. And they might play for like 10 seconds and then, but I have them. I actually was thinking that, yeah, I will sing. And the funny thing is, I actually think that Hound has a really nice singing voice.
Almost like you were raised.
Almost like I was raised to be able to pass along culture through song.
Nice.
And learn how to put on red lipstick at the same time.
At the same time. Chewing gum, though, right out.
Fun. So let's check in with Rolo, and then we're probably going to skip a bit of time. So Rolo, Maybelline takes off. Grig heads after, as well as one of Urboten's wives. Do you plan on sticking around here? You kind of got accomplished what you were hoping to accomplish. You just glad hand and take off to head back to Gobstopper, or are you actually going to end up staying?
Oh no, I'm not staying. It's like, thank you. Just wanted to talk to you about that, and so it didn't come as a surprise. But I'll let you get back to your wives.
Cool. All right, I like that. Then we'll pick up. You head back through the storm. Schnell out. A couple of the Brandon will run out when they see you're working through the storm, and make sure that you can actually walk from one vehicle to another. Not that you need the help, but they're religious zealots, so that's the thing they do for the water bearer. Even though you've got 2 guards, you end up with 2 more guards. You come in and hear the tail end of the 4th round of Thundercats, and that seems to calm down poor Souvenir, and we will speed through a little bit of time. Gonna catch up with Sunset. This is pretty bad. Candy bars are not gonna talk about it, but it's entirely possible that this tent is not going to make it through this storm. What do you do?
All right. So
I mean, the wind is buffeting it. You can hear all the dust like slamming against it.
I'm aware of the amount of people currently shoved into Gabi, right?
Yeah.
And there's lots of room in the USPS truck, or in. All right.
I wouldn't say lots of room, because Upper has 3 wives as well as like 4 of his own personal guard, Haribo, and a few others. So it's tight, but it's not as tight.
And Luden and
yep.
The driver, whoever's driving.
Wherever there's more room is where we're going.
I actually think there might be a little bit more room with Gobstopper, just because I've seen the build for the actual vehicle, and it is a bus versus a U-Haul truck.
All right. So I guess we're going to roll with that.
Also player characters, like just selfishly.
Yeah. No, it's I'm fine with that as long as it makes sense to me. So I think that there's a moment where she's just like staring at the tent, and then she goes, "Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna go and see if Hound will let us in. Be
Cool.
back in a moment."
The license plate like slices through a piece of the tent and bounces off of the back wall of the tent, and Abba lets out a curse, and she pulls out some duct tape and starts trying to duct tape the hole back up. And Clark will say, What are you doing? You leaving?
I'm getting Hound to let you in. You want to come with me?
We're talking, but like this is loud enough to where you guys have to talk really loud. You don't have to mimic it. I'm just like, so my headcanon agrees with what we're doing.
Yeah, so she'll yell it out.
Clark pauses for a moment, and AJ says, if we're going on God, we should just take it.
So Clark does that? Or
not Clark. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Quatcha says that.
It says, I think there's just the sound of the knife coming out of the guitar, like sliding out of the sheath. And I said if she didn't knock it off, I was going to have to gut her. So I think we're gonna roll with it like this. So Sunset says, and she has to say it pretty loud. She is like, I realize you might not have experienced this too much, but when I say I will gut you if you don't knock it off, I'm not joking. Stay here and sit quiet while I go and ask if we can get on.
She doesn't say anything else. And she looks to AJ like, can you believe this? And AJ just shakes her head like, this is how it should be.
Yep. So I'll go up to Gabi and I'll bang on it with the back end of my my big and nasty knife.
And I assume you guys have been in like, holy shit, this like feels like a tornado type winds. So walking against it, you can feel all of your clothes like it's like someone's yanking you back. Your hair is all a mess. Sorry, Sunset. You normally look really great, but dust storm.
I make
Jugstorm.
it work.
Yeah. You're a battle baby. You actually do make it work. Anyway, there's a knocking at Gobby. Hound, this is your baby, so unfortunately it's your responsibility, right? I think that's how it goes. What do you do?
Who is it?
It's sunset.
Who is it?
It's sunset.
Who is it?
If you don't open the door, I will have to assault Gobby, and I don't want to do that.
Do you want a pepper gobby instead? Get your ass in here. It's nasty outside.
Can I bring the candy bars in so they don't all die a horrible death?
I'm thinking.
Well, if we let them all die tonight, it will save us from having to kill them when they try to take Oasis when we get there. But it would be rude to let them die out there.
I'm thinking.
Is this?
It's really awful out here.
Yeah, there's like a piece of a car that rolls like a tumbleweed in front of you of Gobstopper and just rolls across.
So how come you're asking, Sonny?
And you're asking through a closed door in the middle of the hurricane. I just want I'm clapping.
I told you to come inside.
Yeah. So you want to you open it enough for Sunny to come in and actually talk without yelling.
Exactly.
So Sunny's answer is going to be, because I'm the only person among them who is practical.
Are they too proud to come in and ask?
I think that depends on which one you're talking about. I think most of them think they're very, very tough. I'd rather they weren't very, very dead. I haven't learned as much as I can from them, and we still need them to protect us.
I really want to make them call.
They're going to have to come through a tornado to come back in here and talk to you. Also, I have to go back there and back here again through the tornado. I kind of thought that would make you happy.
You know it just what to get me for my birthday, don't you?
I could roll a persuade here and try and get you an experience on this deal.
Yeah, do it. You're trying to manipulate her to give into this. I'm asking Sunset to roll a manipulate because she's definitely engaging the move here.
Okay.
And it gives you the opportunity for possibly XP, or if you want to do the stick part of it, then you can be really mean.
Woo, look at you.
Oh, it's a stick and yeah, it's both. If you go along with it, you get to mark experience, Hound. If you refuse, then Sunset erases one of your stat highlights for the remainder of the session.
Oh no, I'll go along with it. Good Lord.
Hooray! You can have an XP.
Yeah.
Also, I get one for rolling that move. Yay!
Winner, winner.
Hooray. Cool.
So Sunset goes back through the tornado, waves everyone on, and heads back on her. She doesn't wait to see if they're following. She just waves them on to follow her.
Zero was already up, like she's watching through her glass, kind of holding her glasses on, and she spots you. And then Abba's up, Clark is up, and last is AJ and Watcha, and they come in, their hair and face like all covered in dust and grime from everything that's been thrown out at them. Within seconds after they walk out of that tent, it gets picked up and carried off. And they come into Gobstopper, and they don't say much of shit. Hound. They just quickly move in and head to a couple of benches and sit down. What do you do, Hound?
I'll look at Sunset and say, so you're what, the candy bar whisperer?
I just had things that I wanted that they still have. It's the way things are here.
No, it's pretty impressive, I have to say. You know what? I was too nice to say this when they came in, but before they sat down, they were supposed to have said the magic word.
Well,
Clark stands up. What's your magic word? I'll say it. It's my game.
word on the street is Rollo has magic piss.
Pinocchio is the magic word.
Pinocchio.
Thank you. Have a seat. Make yourselves at home. No, I did not mean that. But get some rest. It's nasty out.
So did they just come in like and all their gears blowing around outside? Like
They grabbed. I mean, they didn't. They knew it was going to be a rough storm and that they may have to take off. So it wasn't like they spread out a whole lot of stuff. They locked down their bikes, but the gear that would have been like in saddlebags and everything like that, they have with them.
okay.
They probably have guns with them as well, but none of them are showing it. None of them have holsters that are open. And
Yeah, no, I was just, like, do they need blankies and stuff like that?
They could use some blankets. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I don't know if you have any to spare. There are a lot of people. There are like 16, 17 people in here now.
My people all had them, so, and the ones that have been inside and dry, I will get up and have them redistribute the wealth temporarily, since those people are all wet.
Cool. So yeah, the time will pass a bit. Grig, where have you found a place to sit? Have you found a seat? Are you seated on like on the floor near the front? Are you in an aisle, hunkered down? Where do you imagine that you are on Gobstopper?
Is there anyone that lives in the cargo area on the bus?
Lives in it?
Yeah, like that's where they keep their stuff.
No. I mean, it's there might be somebody in there now.
Yeah, nobody normally stays there,
nobody normally
but yes, there are branded probably in there.
I would imagine.
Oh, okay.
That would have been a neat place.
Yeah. I take off, like I've taken off my mask, and I've taken off my overcoat, which I'm now like my shoulders are and my arms are exposed, but I've rolled the overcoat up into like a pillow, and I'm like leaned up against a cargo box of some sort. Unless Maybelline asks me to stay with her.
I think that she's near, but she hasn't asked you to stay with her. Like, she realizes that it's a bit of an imposition. Like, she has enough emotional intelligence to realize that you aren't a touchy-feely kind of person. But helped when she needed help. So she tries really hard to not encroach.
Okay.
However, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I don't go too far.
Okay. So you're leaning against the cargo and you hear amid the dust storm, like there's a low rumble. And it's going to be happening for the next few hours. But you hear the clomp of some biker boots as a member of the candy bars walks over. And it is, it's Zero, the girl that has glasses.
Ooh, let me take a look at the picture here real quick.
Sure.
Got it. Zero. They look like roller derby people to me.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say that. It looks like that would be a perfect poster for a roller derby group. But
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. They're actually a group of suicide girls, so I had to crop it. But I just like that look.
Yeah, right? Cool. So Zero comes over.
Yeah, Zero comes over. She stands over you for a minute, and then, you know, the thing like where people just kind of squat down over their haunches. She just drops down like that, so she's right near you, and she has in her left hand looks like some kind of rolled cigarette or something.
I smile and I put my hand, like the camera sees me going, my hand going towards my back where my gun is. But just beside it is an old-timey lighter, and I pull it out and I pop it open and I say, want to lay money or want to lay jingle on whether or not this still works?
Too much bad happened tonight for it not to.
Well, now we've put some mysticism into it, haven't we? No money allowed for that. And I pop the lighter on, and it's a butane one, so it was going to work anyway. And I like the cigarette.
Cool. It has an odd smell to it. It is not rolled tobacco.
Well,
this is something.
I don't think anybody has rolled tobacco anymore, right?
Exactly. It did not make the trip. And she takes a puff, holds it in for a bit, and then passes it over to you.
I partake.
Cool. It has a nice, slightly hallucinogenic effect, and I would like you to open your brain to the psychic maelstrom.
Okay.
Which is right outside the door.
No, that's the trash maelstrom. The junk maelstrom.
Psychic trash maelstrom. It's the worst kind of psychic maelstrom.
Right.
Worst. Don't forget that is highlighted for you.
Yeah. Click the button. No one's interfering. Survey says a 9.
Partial success. So when you open your brain to the world psychic maelstrom, roll plus weird. On a hit, the MC tells you something new and interesting about the current situation. He might ask you a question or two, answer them. On a 7 to 9, the MC gives you an impression. If you already know all there is to know. Is there anything you want to know right now? You're the news. You always want to know something. But is there anything you want to know right now?
There's a lot of things that I want to know. Have I opened my brain before? Do I know that I get answers to questions, or is this like?
I imagine that you, as a news, as a person who wants to experience weird shit, as a person who went out to the Great Engine you've probably done this thing before. Maybe it's not something you can easily call upon.
Yeah. Okay.
Does it feel right to you? Like that feel like something for Greg?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm just feeling things out here.
Yeah.
I want to know how the Oasis is doing without its water bearer.
So you take a hit, and a little bit of a ring of smoke passes between you and Zero. And in that smoke, you see images of Topside. And there are bodies. You recognize a few of them, but you also see that there are bodies of Wendy's as well. Bullet holes, as well as it appears to be cleaver marks on one person that you know who is a weaver, who weaves things together to make bowls and the like, by the name of Dawn. Dawn got chopped up pretty bad. She probably won't make it. And that smoke, you see there's smoke on top side as well. Oh, sorry. I have a question for you.
Sure. Do I get the sense that this is now or in the future?
You get a sense it's an impression. So you're not sure if it's recent or in the future.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Ask away.
What does Zero need to do to get you to sleep with her? Because she's interested. She's heard you know things.
I would need to take a bath in the special water from the Oasis to feel cleansed enough to sleep with someone. Probably not the answer she's looking for right now.
She does this. I mean, she takes a moment, looks you over.
But I mean, if you want, like, everything's involved with that, like the knowledge that I feel, like all of that comes with it.
She'll reach over and touch, because you've taken off, like, part of your arms are exposed. She'll reach over and touch your arm. And there's no hesitation there. It's just kind of I'm going to show you I'm not afraid to touch you. But then she doesn't do anything more and takes another puff, and then she'll sit beside you until the joint is gone, sharing it with you.
Okay.
And as it gets... Oh, sorry.
Go on.
As it gets to the point where it's like you're holding on to the very... Like, there's got to be one more puff left.
Right.
She starts to take this. She hands it to you and says, "So this bath thing, it's really good. With the Oasis, I've taken a bath. I'm not asking about the concept of baths. I'm asking about this Oasis bath thing. It's good."
I am capable of discerning context, Zero. You don't have to explain to me that you've taken a bath before.
I just didn't want you to think I was some kind of filthy ganger. That's all.
A bath at the Oasis is like being reborn into the before. It's a few moments of precious divinity. It's freedom from the shit that covers this world.
It's not my freedom. I mean, I'd like to see it, but it's not mine. You show me?
If you'll follow me.
Yeah.
I kiss her.
She didn't expect that. She kind of read the situation and thought this was just a talk. So there's a moment where you see the light in her eyes, and she kisses you back. She doesn't try to push for anything more, just taking what you've offered, but savoring it.
Will you stay here tonight? Or do you have to sleep with your friends in the pile?
I'd like to stay here.
Is this where I point out that I have cameras in the cargo bay?
Mood breaker.
Sure.
I'm sure I do, but I probably at this point go click and turn it off.
Aww.
So I unfurl my jacket and make it into a blanket for us, and I let her like sleep at my breast, like her head on my breast.
She's into it.
Okay.
Yeah, she definitely likes sleeping next to people. Like, it helps her to rest, even in the squall. You guys are having to survive. So, where Rolo? How do you end up sleeping?
May I take an addiction break?
Yeah.
Right.
We're actually heading near the end. Like, I was trying to bring things down, like kind of end stuff
I
off.
sleep
Stop at 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
Midnight. Oh, okay. I sleep up at the front. I literally will be on a spot in the floor, whatever the worst possible place in the bus to sleep. That's the place that I have chosen.
Poor Rolo.
Everybody else gets a better spot, and he makes sure that everybody is in better spot. Everybody has blankets. Everybody's taken care of. Oh, and the practical side, that some of the branded are awake and armed and vigilant, and only then will he lay down.
Cool. And then, Hound, where is it that you sleep for the night? Do you sleep in the up front in your little cockpit area, or do you head back to near your sister, or what?
That's actually interesting.
I'm glad to know.
Where are you sleeping?
I am curious.
What was your question, Pam?
Where are you sleeping?
So I think at this point, hold on. No, I think she's still in the pile right now.
Okay, if she's in the pile, then I'll just sleep up front.
I'll talk it through a little bit. She's in the pile because if she went up and was with you instead, then it would almost certainly provoke Watcha to go crazy. Not that Hound knows any of that, but she stays with the pile to keep the peace.
Correct.
Cool. So, Sunset, you're in the pile. And you've been in the pile for a few nights, right? This is not a new thing. But for the first time in the pile, someone kisses the nape of your neck. And then kisses up the nape of your neck to nibble on your ear. It's Watcha. What do you do?
I think for much the same reasoning that I just was talking through, I think that Sunset is suspicious, but actually just responds in kind with the belief that it keeps things for the moment where she wants them to be.
Okay. Well, we will bring tonight's session to a close with those moments of intimacy with Sunset and Watcha. So let's do the end of session stuff, then we'll take a couple-minute break, and if you guys could do some roses and thorns, I'd appreciate it. I definitely have some stuff for this session that I wanted to pick your brain. So we'll do the end of session. At the end of every session, choose a character who knows you better than they used to. If there's more than one, choose one at your whim. So we'll start with Hound. Hound, who knows you better?
Wow, that's tough.
Do you want me to skip over to Jason and work
No,
back to you?
I don't know that anybody knows me better. I mean, other than I could say,
if no one knows you better,
yeah,
then you can choose a character who doesn't know you as well as they thought.
I'd say Sunset doesn't know me as well as I thought.
Oh, ouch.
Did I say they? Did I say they? Did I say
So Sunset, you have a -1 on your HX with Hound.
Huh.
That -2 now?
It is. To be honest, I would have said I know her better, but it's not up to me on that.
No, it is not.
It's interesting that you say that, because that might be the truth. That you think you know me better, but I think you know me less.
It's all good.
Is it these aren't asked by the character?
No.
These are answered by the player.
These are answered by the player. But that's just interesting on perspective. So
Yeah. No, it's good.
I mean,
Okay. Grig, who knows you better?
Hound was there when I was helping out Maybelline, so I think Hound knows me better.
I like that. Awesome. Rolo.
I am going to say that Sunset knows me better, since she's the least familiar with me. And so this is actually her getting to see me.
That's a neat. I like that.
That is fair.
And then Sunset.
Man, I have to follow through with John's thinking there now. I don't think Greg knows Sunset any better, and I don't think Rolo actually saw Sunset doing very much, whereas Rolo was public. And I think much in the same way that Hound is actually less well understood by Sunset. I know that Hound doesn't understand Sunset better at all because she doesn't know anything Sunset was doing. So I'm going to say no one knows me better, and Hound knows me worse.
There you go.
Sisters.
Oh, wow. You know, I thought you guys had discussed that you were going to get along.
Get along this. You know.
No, I suggested it, and then Pam threatened to steal my face. So,
well, you know.
That's how it goes. Okay, cool. So,
the only person in the world she opens up that side of herself to. I don't know if that's
well, we've reached the end of official time. So if anybody wants to just go, totally cool. Let's take a couple minutes or 5. John, how long would you like a break for?
5 minutes is fine.
Awesome. So we'll take about 5 minutes. And anybody else who's still around, we'll do Roses and Thorns.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. I don't need 5 minutes, so I'll probably just hang out here and BS with people.
Gonna do that too.
All right.
That's fine.
So looking for a GM actually has a GM rating thing. If you could, I actually officially started the game that we've played. I have to do that before players can then go and do any ratings. So if you have any ratings, feedback, that kind of stuff, feel free to do that thing. I'm now going through and moving people to waitlist. From waitlist to roster. Mark and John, I think, are the two who are actually in there.
So, but you didn't actually GM tonight. You MC'd tonight.
That's true. I'm going to start a sister site called Looking for MC.
So where do I rate you on this? Is it on your...
I've never been on a player side of this, so I'm not entirely sure. I know that both Pam and John were able to do a rating after. Is there a thing you get from in the inbox, maybe?
I had something in the inbox saying that I'd been added to the game. No, and it says no player ratings yet. Although you have 3 happy faces on you, so I don't know. Hold on, I'll follow Orklord. I have 4 open ratings. Click here to complete them.
There you go. That's how it goes.
I was going to say, John muted, but left his speaker on, so you're going to get some background crap. Anyways, yeah, it's on the top of the screen.
Thank you, Pam.
Submit.
I'm searching for the link.
Apparently, I can rate my fellow players also.
I know, isn't that weird?
That makes me vaguely uncomfortable. But
why is it?
It's just like China.
Yeah.
Oh, we're being recorded. Sorry, politics.
Oh.
Well, for one thing, if this is the only game that I'm playing, everyone will know whether or not someone did not rate me stellar.
Well, you could wait a few games and do it later, I guess.
I suppose. I'm just gonna go through and stellar up everybody. Comes the train called the City of New Orleans. All right. You know, it's odd because the first game I ever played with you was Lady Blackbird, and I had to give you a rating on that too, because it was for VirtuaCon. Or
oh, that's right. Oh man, that was a pretty good game, man. I was like, this Jason Karsk's amazing.
I'm like playing a character that doesn't actually really have a crazy voice this time, but she does crazy stuff, so that works out. That was a fun game. That is actually the only time I've ever played Lady Blackbird was that one game.
Really?
Yeah.
I played it more than that.
I know you have.
I was hoping I'd get to play it in Origins, to be honest. I mean, I enjoyed every session that I ran, but I was also like, I really wish I could have run Lady Blackbird.
I always get fear of missing out in the worst way at Origins because I want to play every single game. So, although the game of Masks we played with you, that was my friend Jimmy had never played it, and
It was so
I was like,
amazing.
Yeah, well, I think I told you at the time, like Jimmy's a stand-up comic, and so his improv skills are pretty sharp, and like I really wanted him to play it, and so we came over there, and I gave him my fast pass so that he could play Masks. We looked at all the GMs, and I was like, all right, so these are probably all good GMs. Play with Rich. I'm like, I can guarantee your experience with Rich, and I can't do that with these other people because I haven't played with all of them. So,
well, that is pretty lovely of you, and I was so blessed to have him at that table because I felt like that was a really great game.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. He really leaned into making bad decisions.
God, not only lean and make it like I've never seen a person come into Masks for the first time and engage all of like so many moves in such a seamless way. Like, oh,
Janice is pretty tricky too.
It is. I was amazed. I was just like, this is like the prototypical Janice. Then when I feel like when Brenda was making a Janice, he was like, I'm making this for Jimmy to play with Rich at Origins 2018 because man, it was great.
Oh, it was good fun. It's the one player's version of the Star was interesting because like everyone else is the main characters, and I'm just Snapper Carr. But
I think it was a neat approach. I don't feel like I did it justice. Like it's one of those where I'm like, oh, I really hope they can make that work because I'm not sure how best to tackle that.
Well, I think it was an interesting thing to try to do with the playbook. I don't think it's actually natural for that playbook, but they put forth a lot of experimental stuff to play with.
Yes.
And also, like, Snapping Turtle being the grandma was freaking amazing.
Oh, so good. So good. All right, they're back. I could talk about this game with you at other times, and we'll happily do that. So, feedback. First time that all five of us have gamed together. I don't know why I didn't include myself in that number. All five of us gamed together, joining 2 players to an ongoing game, joining 4 players to a world that's a little lived in. So a lot of moving parts here. With that in mind, we'll do our traditional roses and thorns, but I also have some like questions. So we'll start off with thorns per usual. I'll lead off just so you guys don't have, like, if this is in your head, you're like, oh, I don't have to say it because Rich said it. I felt the session was a little uneven. I don't think that everybody got equal spotlight time, and there were several moments that drug. I feel like I should have framed scenes a little harder and push things along more quickly. There's a certain lassitude or a lethargy. Like my pacing was off. I really didn't feel snappy. So I apologize, and I will be better in 2 weeks hence on pacing and harder framing and spotlight adjudication. I'm not sure why I was off tonight, but I felt it. I felt that there were just certain scenes that kind of drug and other scenes that got a little short shrift. And I don't know if I necessarily phrased questions very strongly. I think we had a few highlights, and we'll get to that when we do roses. But overall, I'm not entirely satisfied with me as an MC for tonight's session. So, Jason, what thorns did you have from tonight's session?
So I think it's really hard to bring in 2 new players in a 4-player game when there's already like it's 3 sessions in, and also they're moving from one space to another. Like there's a lot of things that are complicating that. So I think that this is almost a rose in saying that you still did it, but I think that's probably part of where the timing problem came. But it's also I was having listened to the fast pace in the first episode, especially. I was looking forward to a little bit more high octane, and so we were more slow paced than I was expecting. Not in terms just of pacing, but in terms of the kind of framing of scenes. If that makes sense. Didn't get to stab anyone. I could have stabbed someone. No. But I think that's what I would roll with. I can recognize why it's a challenge and why I think it rolled that way. But I think a direct threat probably would have played more into what I was looking for tonight anyway.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that, Jason. John, what thorns did you have?
Generally not a thorny kind of guy, but let's see if I can think of one. I don't even know if it's a thorn. I've already talked about it with Jason. So it's the music thing is still like I want to kind of nail that because I don't want to step on his idea of being this bastion of music. And I saw, Mark was handling the same thing. Like, I don't want to step on it. Can I sing a lullaby? And I think that we're probably getting that worked out and it's actually made me think of it. It's like, so I don't know if it's necessarily a thorn, but thinking about this, like, man, it's like the most depressing world I could imagine is a world where there's like no music. I actually all day I've been like, wow, that's so weird. And we just watched the movie Coco, so it's also relevant in if you've seen Coco.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, no, it's not really even a thorn. So it's in my head. Like I probably had some pushback against it, so that thorn would be against me for pushing back against the idea of the restricted music.
That's a tough one for me too, to say there's no music. But I think maybe there's no music that we've experienced, or we'll tease it out. I think there are some things we can introduce to the world, and we do have historians here. We have the news, and we have Sunset's weird things. So maybe you guys are just the next rock band of an alien planet.
It wasn't my intent that there's no music. It's that recordings of music break down easly.
Yeah, that does, because we talked a little bit on Hangouts. And it's like I was cool with that, but like as long as because I thought, yeah, no, of course, yeah, there's no recordings, there's no music studios, so the only music is people, banging some pots.
Yeah, you get a lot of live music.
Yeah,
that's cool. Okay, good. That solves my concerns. I like that. Live radio, Greg. Mark, what thorns did you have?
I would have liked to see the Halo gang showed up. You asked why the Wendy's weren't there, and we got a reason. And I would have thought that the next logical thing would be to have them to show up. So
yeah, that's a really good point. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's my thorn.
Cool. Pam, thorns.
Also not a thorny kind of person. But yeah, there's definitely an expected level of awkwardness when you have the introduction of 50% of the players to the other 50% of the players, and it's additionally problematic because, you know, John and I are married, so we have the synergy already. So trying to get that sort of caught up for the new people was definitely challenging. Other than that, my main thorn is you thinking that you were somehow, well, I don't know, you might have been subpar for Rich standards, but your standards are so high that subpar Rich is better than 90% of the people out there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We'll stick with you, Pam, for Rose's things you enjoyed, highlights of the session, any feedback to players on things that you enjoyed or found wowable.
Well, like I said at the beginning when we were introducing characters, the write-up that Mark did for his character I thought was poetic. And I am looking forward to having more interaction with Greg in the next game. I would also add, of course, that being able to play with Jason again is beyond awesome. So, and I like the fact that we basically just picked up immediately the same sort of relationship that it was an easy thing to sort of slide into. But Rich, I gotta tell you, I love, what is his name? Ultra 10?
Upper 10?
Upper 10. You love him.
I loved him last time. I loved him this time.
Yay!
I love him. What can I say?
I hate him so much. No idea.
That's great.
Or the
I love Rich's personification of
I
it.
like Richard's personification of it. The character itself, I'm probably going to want to punch in the face.
Oh, punch in the face? No. My nice water bearer sees a wood chipper whenever he sees that guy.
That's great.
I love the way that Rich, I love the way that you play him.
Cool.
It's my favorite thing. So.
Thank you. Mark, what roses did you have?
A lot of your NPCs really sung to me tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Please continue to bring in Radiant and Maybelline and Zero. I liked having the tension of siblings without the characters knowing that they were siblings. I thought that was, for me, that just really worked. You know, there's no, like, for my character, there's nothing in the back of my head that says, oh, but they'll figure it out because they're family. Like, as the tensions grow, I'm just watching tensions grow, and it's like, well, it's, you know, it's like Marsh Pit all over again. And, you know, and you start thinking to yourself, like, well, how am I going to be safe from the fallout from this shit? You know, so the tensions are really rising for that. And I really liked the halos, the police force out in the wild. thought that was a great addition.
Yes, they must show up at some point.
I had initially thought of them as being guardian angels, like the guys that used to be on the subways.
Okay.
Remember those guys? But
Mhm.
then I just sort of decided to take a left turn from there.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. And I mean, I really enjoyed, opening your mind is usually such a player-driven move. I like
Mhm.
having it handed to me. That was nice tonight.
Cool. That was
'Cause
very exciting.
Because the thing is like often when you do that, it's like I'd like to be alone and I'd like a whole bunch of screen time, and it's kind of a selfish thing to ask for sometimes when
Can
you're
be,
in the middle of
yeah.
the game, especially when the game's only 3 hours long. So having it handed to me and having it ready to go and not having to negotiate it, that was really cool. So those are my roses for the night.
Thank you, Mark. John, what roses did you have?
I'm going to be repeating, I suppose. As always, I love my wife. I love her character, and the Halo thing was pretty cool. Although they better have a dark side, god damn it, because it is Apocalypse World. But they might not. They might have no angle. Who knows?
They left somebody out with a message on them during the day in the desert.
It's a Wendy.
That's true.
I mean, what? That's a saint. That's saint material right there. They are not nice. Oh, you've listened to the whole. Yeah, they have them over the barbecue on a barbecue spit and carving meat off of their while they're alive. So yeah, no. I loved Jason and basically everything you did with the candy bars, which is on you and Rich, but you guys have great chemistry. You can tell that you've played together before because it just flowed so quick and easy. Rich brought his A game for the candy bars. All of them seem like they have distinct personalities. They're distinct people, all in a gang. And Jason really facilitated that. And even though he's not a member of them, he kind of was the whole, and it was just a beautiful battle babe kind of thing. I'm so dangerous that I'm a part of your gang because I want to be. And they deal with it because you're a battle babe. So they don't say, go the fuck away. They're like, well, she'll kill you. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever, hang out. And I like that you really brought that. You were playing dangerous and sexy. The definition of a battle babe. And I really liked Mark's news. I especially liked him stealing Maybelline from me, which was great. I didn't have to be the one doing the babysitting and somebody else doing it. It was great. And more touching than it would have been with me, because not having to have the fear of setting off a war with Upper 10. So it was really nice. And like I said, more touching. I really enjoyed the whole thing with her. And then you followed it up with the romance in the back of the bus, which was, the best since band camp. So
Nice.
Oh man, well we don't have flutes here, so that one time at band camp. Oh my goodness, that's just such a great quote. Thank you, John. Jason, bring us home with your roses, sir.
Sure. Being last means that a lot of roses have come out. I want to draw attention to it's the flip side of what we were talking about earlier. What I would consider a fairly masterful use of the various pressures in the game. So you've got Upper 10 and Maybelline that are both creating pressures on one social situation, but the player character still actually has to make the decision. And there's several of those things where you're presenting more than one angle, which is going to have consequences one way or the other, but then the players have to make a decision, and that includes environmental effects. So the tent's getting torn up. I have to go and ask my sister for help that I don't really want to. And how do you deal with that? And, you know, there is a certain amount of pressure to get player characters together, but there's also an interesting social pressure that comes out of that. And I think that was done really very elegantly in a way that always spotlighted the PCs as deciders, but also created difficult decisions that don't really have a right or wrong. They're just actions and consequences. And I feel like that's really important in Apocalypse World.
Thank you. Thank you a great deal. I'm very excited about this group of players and looking forward to the next session. I can't wait to get to Oasis. I really itching to see what Nevermore looks like. More fun with the candy bars and Sunset, and I'm sure there will be no ramifications with Sunset and Watcha and AJ, and that's not going to be a complication at all. It's lovely. And Hound and the candy bars, we'll see how that relationship develops, since they kind of sort of owe you, and Clark's kind of admitted that. So things are shifting and changing, and I'm excited about it. This is going to be pretty great, and there will be more pressure and probably much more action, as one brain opening has hinted to us. So thank you all so much for giving me 3.5 hours of your precious time. I've had a great time running Apocalypse World for you tonight, and I look forward to the next session.
Thank you, Rich.
so much, Rich.